says that this hangout on there is live. And this is volume 41 of live programming in F sharp. And yeah, so I'm pretty much doing this long running code kata of building a Uber like application using xamarin.forms, F sharp, inspired by domain driven design, and just playing with this idea of specification as a library. So you have your ride domain, you have your account domain. Each of these domains will have a lot specification, right? Folder, which you have a ride specification, you have a account specification. In these specifications, you have a list of operations. So operations that are related to before a ride, operations that are related to after a ride, and operations that are related to when a ride has ended. So that's for the ride domain. And for the account domain, for its specification library, specification as a library, we have operations that are related to bank cards, like these right here. And we have operations that are related to actions, like these right here. In these videos, I went through the steps of building 2 pages for the account domain, the bank cards page where you can view your existing bank cards and remove a bank card. Or I also added this new bank card page over here where you can add a new bank card to your list of bank cards that you have registered. Okay, so say expiration month and year and code, something like this. And so like you add that, now that shows up in here. Okay. So now what in this video, I think I want to start focusing on the ride domain. That's what I think I want to do in this video. Again, this is just a long running code kata that I just record, me programming in. And this is just to build up muscle memory and so that I could do a better job when I am building real world solutions for paying customers. So I spend more time making mistakes on my own outside of work so that, or maybe I should say outside of the ring, so that when I'm in the ring, I've been there, I've done that, I'm already primed and ready. And it's go time. This is my training right now. When I'm getting paid by a customer, I don't expect the customer to pay me to learn. I expect the customer to pay me to deliver. And I think that's the difference that a lot of developers forget about. So anyways, in this ride domain over here, and I'm not sure if I could just scope to these two. It's not going to let me scope to 2 different folders, but I'll scope to this ride domain over here. There's a request ride.xaml, in route.xaml, and ride ended.xaml. The request ride.xaml, I feel like I've already visited this part before. Yeah, it looks like I already have some XAML in here. And so let me go to my app.xaml.cs, and now I want to get rid of all this, and instead it's going to be a request ride. Okay, and that is ride.ui. And is there anything else? This view model needs to be, I don't even think I have a view model yet for, well, I know I do, but I'm not sure if it's ready yet. Let's just, let me see. I'll go ahead and have this view model set down here for this would be new ride dot view models dot get ride. Okay. And that is going to take a passenger, a before ride request. Yeah, something's not right. Is it? Well, there's only get ride, en route, and ride. So that has to be it. And let's just, for right now, just set everything to null. Passenger, null for before ride request. And let's do null for handlers, or you can pass in empty for handlers. Uh-oh, doesn't like that. All right, null for handlers. Okay. Now what? This get ride, I don't like the name of it because my XAML file is request ride. So I think the view model and my XAML file should have the same name. If I go to get ride over here for view models, I would like to change this to Control RR and say request ride. Okay. And I'm not sure if that's going to cascade down to all the other references within my tests, but I could then attempt to run all my automated tests. And there's a couple other things I don't like. I don't like that. And then I'll just go ahead and move this over here. Okay, that feels a little bit better. And so I have some build errors. It says one failed. Bring this back. And over here, I don't see an error. Control backslash like that. Okay. So apparently I need to, within my go back within my app library, I need to add a reference to the ride.viewModels, which is already there. And so I'll go ahead and undo it and then re-add it again because maybe it's some bug in Visual Studio. And attempt to build this project. Oh yeah, and this is called request ride. That. All right, so that should go away. And so the build now succeeds. I want to make sure that my tests are still passing. So I'm running my tests. Solution is attempting to build again, even though I just built the application part of it. But then again, the automated tests, well, all this should have built, so it shouldn't be building again. When that builds, hopefully everything is green. And then I could start tackling this request ride view model. So over here, that's UI, this view model over here. I'm curious why, okay, this is the request type that harbors the IO operations. That's what this is right here. And this is passenger information. And right now, passenger is just the name, which is first option of having a middle name and a last name. And this is taking the longest for my test to run. That was like 45 seconds. All my tests are passing, right? So that's fine. Okay, so now what? Well, we want to get rid of all these nulls so we can actually launch this, because this request ride, actually I need to rename that get ride to request ride over here. Request ride. Okay. Does this have an initialize in here yet? It doesn't. Okay, so that's okay. If I were to just chance it and try to run this application, will I be able to just look at the XAML being rendered, even though my view model has all this set to null? And I think I should be able to just view the page. And so it's attempting to render a page. I'll probably get some exception that I'm allowed to continue on through, like I always get when I attempt to launch this application. Nope. Okay, fine. All right, so here's the page right here, pickup, destination, and then you have this request right here. Okay. Now what? Well, that looks fine. There's a couple things that I'm curious about. I don't know if I want to go with this color that I have right here for the request, or if I should stick with the dark green color that I have for my bank cards. I think I actually like this color over here. So that's a side note. I like this color. Now, what I want to do is I need to actually take all these null values in my view model, and I need to actually provide relevant values, because, and then once I do that, when I set a destination, or when I set a pickup, when I set a destination, this request button needs to be disabled and then enabled when pickup and destination has a value. So that's something I need to do here. Once these fields are populated, pickup and destination, request button will be enabled. When I hit the request button, it should transition into a ride requested state. but there's something that I'm missing. More than likely, people want to get a price. And when they get a price, then they can decide if they want to request that ride. I mean, that's usually how it works. So, but you don't have to have a button for getting a price. You can, let me see something. Theoretically, you could, if I go over here and this button right here, which I like this color, and that's just light blue. So in my app.xaml, where I think I have my button over here. No, no, no. Uh-oh, let me see something. I want to do a dark green somewhere over here. No, I don't have dark green reference anywhere. Just one thing I want to do real fast is I want to go to my UI for bank cards, and I like that light blue color. So there's a add card over here. Oh yeah, and that's green. Let's change that to light blue. And then for the add bank card over here, that is going to be green. Let's add that to light blue. Okay. Now back to request ride. This is the button right here, but I'm thinking that it should probably be a price on the left side and then this button on the right side, meaning that I have this grid.columns. How does this work? Grid.column definitions. And I have two columns, right? So I have this column definition and I have this column definition. Okay. Now what? Well, then I want to say that this is going to change some things because now I'm going to say that this is going to be grid.column 0, but it's going to be a grid.column span of 2. Okay. My OCD likes to have things. My OCD likes to have things lined up, and so this other entry is going to follow suit, in which we do that and do that, and so then we can have grid.column, and we'll make that a 0, and then we say that the grid.column span is going to be 2. Okay. My OCD says line things up. Line things up. Now what? This button over here, that starts at, that's going to start at column 2. So hold up. You have grid.row2, grid.column index is going to be 1. Okay. And let me see something. Row 2, column index 1. And let me see how that looks so far. If I just save this, then we see the request button now goes over here. And what I want to do is I want to add a label. So I'm going to have a label over here. And this is going to be a row, grid.row, and that's going to be a number 2. Then I'm going to say grid.column, and that's going to be at 0. Okay. And I like to have my things lined up. And then what? Well, the text is going to be the price. Right now, I'll just have like, I don't know, something like that. And then I could close this. And so if I save that and I'll go back over here, then something's not right. It's grid.row 2. That's fine. And it's missing the margin stuff and all the other stuff that's in here. So if I go to this button style, you see that the margin is 0.15. Okay, and then there's a font size. All right, so let's just go ahead and adopt what we see over here. So there's a style, and we'll say X key, and we'll call this a price style. Okay, and the target platform is going to be our label, like that. Okay, and so you're going to have your setters over here, in which you're going to have your, come here, Willis. You're going to have your property. It's going to be margin. Actually, I don't even have to do that. I'll just copy and paste it because I'm a G. So you just do that over here, and you just do something like that. And what else? There's a background color that we may want to adopt. And in this case, it's going to be the text color, maybe like that. I'm not a UX designer, but maybe that'll look okay. And then there's a width request, and I don't think I should care about a width request. Maybe I should. I don't know. We'll add a width request in here. Of course, that should probably only be 50. Okay. And then there's a font size over here. And then there's horizontal options. And I don't know if that should be center or left. Something like that. So now you have that there. We need to assign a price style to our actual label. So over here, we can say that our style will basically reference our price style like that. So then I could look and we see that we now have the label in here. And then you have your request button. Okay. Now, I feel like that could be bigger, the font size. So I want that font size to be, I want it to, what options do I have? It's just large. Okay. And so then maybe that's going to be at 75 or say 100. Okay. All right. And I'm not sure if that color is the best color. The light blue, I don't know if light blue is the best color either. If I just say blue, okay. Or I could say that it's going to be a dark gray. And that might be okay. And what else? Well, I think I want there to be a vertical options, and I want that to be center. Okay. And I think I like that. Now what? Uh, I think that might be okay. The UI still looks kind of strange. That request button looks pretty big now. Question is there a custom size for a button? So what I mean by that is I can go to xamarin.forms and then font size, say custom. And there has to be one, right? Fonts in xamarin.forms. And over here they have, yeah, they have numbers in here. You can also use name, size, enumeration, which has 4 built-in options. Okay. So theoretically, I should be able to say that maybe I want to say 48. I learn something new every day. Okay. And so that's a little bit too big. I'll say 36. Okay. Now what? Uh, I think I want to, I think this is okay. Now, that button over here, that I'm not sure if, let me see, the font size, that might be okay. What if we do 24 to match the font size on the button? No, okay, we'll do 28. Okay, that might be fair. Okay. Now, for the button, it's left, top, right, bottom. If I do that, left, top, right, bottom, that I'm curious if I should actually move this button to the bottom, meaning that, like everything else, there is a perhaps a, let me see something. I don't know if I should keep it like that or uh, maybe have a stack option or stack layout and do that right there. And then I can take the button part of this, which is right here, and perhaps dock it down here, which means that my for the button, I'll have a vertical options, and that will be at the end, something like that. Okay. Now, if I do that, that didn't really do anything. Uh, So here, let me see something. This should be that should be fine. Control KD. No, that doesn't work. All this up here should be indented. Okay. That over there. And this button should be docked. The only reason why that's not docked is because, let me see, the stack layout. And that grid, maybe I could say, is vertical options is starts here. And for the, let me see, that button was supposed to, I thought I already set the vertical options of the button to end. Now is it end and fill, end and expand? And now the button goes down here. Okay. So then I can update the margins on here, which would be similar to the margins over here for the add card, in which the margins are just set to 15 everywhere. So theoretically, I should just be able to do this right here. So now you have the request button right here, which means that I no longer need two columns. But since that's already in here, I'll just say that, I'll just say that this is going to be grid dot column span 2. And that's the price right there. Okay. Now what? Well, that request button for right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in the next video. That request button should probably be disabled. So I'll have a, let me see, is enabled equals, and then you probably want to bind that to what? You probably want to bind that to a, if it were WPF, I think I would have a multi-binding of pickup and destination. But I don't think there's multi-bindings in Xamarin Forms. There seems to be a third-party company that will provide that. Yeah. So for is enabled, I could just, how would this work? This, I'm missing a command on here. That command can reference the is enabled. So I could have come here, command equals binding, and then this will be a whatever command I have over here, which is right now this is get price. There's a request right here. Okay, so I have a request has on its can execute a can request over here. Okay. Now for everything else, do my entries map to a no, I don't have any bindings on my entries. Specifically, I need to have a text equals and then binding, and this is supposed to be your pickup. If I collapse everything here, that's the pickup, right? And then this other entry right here, that's supposed to be your destination. What just happened? It's supposed to be your destination. So I should be able to say text equals and then say binding and then say destination like this. Okay. And I like having things aligned. And I like having things aligned. Okay. So now I have my destination here. There's a price somewhere in here that I need to bind to. So the label over here, that text needs to be bound to a price. Okay. And so if I go there, the price right now is going to be okay or error. Okay, so that's fine, which means that your price should have a visibility. So you could say something like, I think it's just a visible is visible equals, and you say binding, and then it's price. And so that price is going to, they're both going to require a converter, right? So over here, let me see. Now, should a price be a result type or should it be a option type? Well, they both depend on IO, hence the okay. So if that's the case, they're both going to require a converter, and it is going to be a price available converter. And or you could say result to price converter. Result to price converter, okay, which needs to be created. So this ride I can have within the UI. Let me cut all this off right now. In the UI, library of this ride, I can have a new folder and call that converters, and Control Shift A for adding a new file. And then I can say that this is going to be a, whatever I named it, results. That's not what I named it. Result to should be result to price converter, like that. And so I'll have a result to price converter over here. Okay. And there appears, if I do Alt Enter on the library, I need to make sure that the default namespace gets rid of the prefix of 00 underscore. So then when I go back to my result to price converter up here, I get rid of the 00 underscore, and I do Control dot to remove the unused imports. And I guess I'll make this public. And then I'll say that this result to price converter is a high value converter. And I want to implement that I value converter, something like this. So then you can say that var result equals, you can say value as what? Now in this case, it's going to be a F# result type, which I'm not even sure if I'm referencing F# in here. So manage NuGet packages, and installed, I do have F#.core. So it makes me believe that I should be able to say results, um, or I could say F#, where's this at? Microsoft.F#, and then say core, and then say result, F# result, and then that is going to be of what? That is going to be of a, okay. Remember, if I go back to my view model, this price is a price and error description. So there should be like a price in here. Uh-oh, what just happened? There should be a price in here. As long as I have my UI rely on my ride.specification, if I reference my ride.specification, then there should be a price in it. Oh yeah, I need to also reference my the Visual Studio's thinking right now. There's going to be an error description. Okay. And so the error description can only be recognized if I reference my get ride core, which is this over here. Okay. And so do that. And so then when I do Control dot, actually all this is recognized. Okay. So now what? It says that the as operator must be used with a reference type or nullable. Okay, well, this is it. I don't know what else you're talking about. Now, what I could do is I could go ahead and say that we're going to be using this over here, which means that I should be able to get rid of that right there. Now what? Then you can say that, oh yeah, I need to add a semicolon right there, and then say result dot, it is okay. You can say if result dot is okay, and if that's a method or a property, that is a property, then we can say results dot result value, which is going to be the price. And that, I think, I think you have to say like toString, and then I think you say like C2 or something. How does this work? There's toString. I thought you could format this. Result.value is going to be a price. Uh-oh. Let's try this over again. And then you can say item. And then hopefully I could call it toString. And I always thought that toString, you could say like C2 for a price, I think. Something like that. Else, well, it's just, I guess you could just say null. And, oh yeah, I have to say return null. And, or you can say, I don't know if I really want to say return null, or you could say return, and you could say no price listed, and maybe that's better. Okay. So over here, let me check my messages. Over here, there's still a compilation issue where saying for this convert, it says not all code paths return a value. I try to say that this result is going to be equal to this value, but it says that the as operator must be used with a reference type or nullable type, which is what I think I did. It's a non-nullable value type, reference type, or a nullable type. So I'm not really sure what else I'm supposed to do right here. Yeah, what this value is going to be of this type. Like, what else am I supposed to do? F# result, within angle brackets, you have a generic T, and then you have T error. And that's what I have. If I try to build this, is it going to make a difference? Control \E for error. And I'll go ahead and put this on my clipboard. And over here, I'll do this over here. And I'll say that the operator must be used with a reference type or nullable type. And I'll go ahead and paste that in here. And why can the operator be used with nullable T? According to the documentation, is used to perform certain types of conversions between compatible reference types. Since nullable is actually a value type, I would expect it, blah, blah. Is yes, I have informed the document. Thanks for bringing it. Okay, that doesn't help me. All right, so what else is there? And over here, meanwhile, this is still trying to build. Okay, I'm not sure why I can't do this. So I'll probably end this video right now, but is there anything else I could do in the meantime? Let me see. I could go back to my XAML. I think I still need to define converters. So in my XAML file, I'll say XML namespace converters equals, and then there's a ride.ui converters right here. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and say that actually this content page.resources, I think this is supposed to be in the resource dictionary, and maybe they're just being nice by letting me omit that. Okay. And so there's supposed to be a converters result to price converter. And so then I'll call that over here X key result to price converter. Do that. Okay. And so then from there, I can use this result to price converter over here, which I already have. So that was for the label being visible, but that's different from what I have. So this is a result to price converter, which is actually returning back a string, which isn't what I want. This label, maybe it should always be the. Maybe this label, here's a question. Label should this label always be visible for the price? Or should it be hidden and then have visibility once there's a pickup and destination that can compute a ride request, aka also a price? And so the short answer is I think that this label should always be here. If I try to use my imagination, then let's go back here and say that there definitely needs to be I think this probably needs to have this over here. The text requires this converter. However, there needs to be a different converter for the is visible. So this would be a result to visibility converter. And I'll just copy paste this. And the only difference right now is the name and the return type. Okay, and so this will be true. And then that will be, I could just say false. I keep thinking this is F sharp, so I have to say return true. And then over here, I could just say return false. Okay. So then I can go to the XAML and I can put another converter in here. Say that this is going to be the visibility converter and update that XAML key Okay. And so then over here, this is visible is now changed to result to visibility converter when binding to the price. Okay. And so that stuff should be straight for right now. And maybe I'll take this, push this down here. No, and push this down here. Okay. And in the next video, I'll figure out what I need to do to resolve this because it's not coming to me right now. So what's this over here? Not all code paths. This is supposed to be a return right here. Okay. And yeah, I don't result equals value. I mean, this is a type. I don't think I'm allowed to do this to type. Uh-oh, I am allowed to do that. Okay, that was different. So attempt to build this. This over here can be removed. And everything builds. Attempt to run all my tests, which everything should still pass. And so tests are being discovered. All the tests pass. And I think that's going to be it for right now. In the next video, I'll continue work to getting this to be rendered as it takes into consideration the value converters. Hence, for this price label right here, the result to price converter and the result to visibility converter, because on my request ride, the price is a result type of a price, or a failure, a error description. And so I'll, let me see, I'll work on that more than likely in the next video. And I'm tapping out right now. So peace, adios, and I'm going to stop this broadcast.